time is now 6 p.m. I call this meeting of the Smith County Emergency Services District Number 2 to order at 6 p.m. Certified there is a quorum present. Absent is Commissioner Domney, who is away with a family emergency, and Commissioner Edwards, who is also sick. So Commissioner Wilson, Commissioner Thornton, and myself are here, which constitutes a quorum. At this time, I'd ask that you all stand for the prayer and pledge of allegiance to the United States and Texas flags. Dear Father, we thank you for this day you've given us, and we thank you for the rain you provided for us. Dear Lord, we just ask that you be with us tonight as we go about the business of the district. We make wise and prudent decisions that are favorable in your sight, dear Lord. We ask that you watch over all our men and women who go about the business of protecting our citizens daily. Dear Lord, we just ask that you would be with us, lead us, guide us, and protect us. All these things in your Son, Jesus' name we ask. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. All right. Let's see, Mr. Harrod's back with us tonight. Glad to have you here with us. And anyway, so under item number 4 is public comment. Do we have anybody signed up for public comment?
We do. We have one.
Okay. All right, any individual may sign, provide form requested permission of the board concerning matters that are on the agenda. The time limit for each person's comment shall be 3 minutes. The board may not deliberate on items or matters not listed on the agenda. So, who is it?
Leslie Hinkley.
Okay, Ms. Hinckley?
Thank you. I'm representing Eagle Crest Ranch, the Hinckley family, Sky Ranch, and the community of Van. I want to remind you of your commitment to serve and protect our community by building a fire and EMT station, not moving in a temporary station as a Band-Aid or a consolation prize or a pacifier. I'm asking you to do what is right and represent this isolated section of Smith County by providing us a fire station as you promised. I want to know, where is your honor? Where is your oath, your creed, your motto, and your integrity? Please do what is right and provide Jamestown with our much-needed fire station. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Item number 5 will be a consent agenda. Discuss, consider, and take any necessary action related to the payment of accounts, bills, invoices, payroll requests for reimbursement, requests for other payments, transfer of funds, and amendments. So under 5.1 is the payment of our bills, which total in that category, get down to the bottom of it, $1,117,034.38. Anybody has any question on the bills? I've looked over them. I didn't really see anything that was out of the ordinary.
Nor did I.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to pay bills in the amount of $1,117,034. $1,117,034.38.
I have a motion by Commissioner Thornton. We pay our bills under 5.1 in the amount of $1,117,034.38. I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. 5.2 is our district credit card bills. Same thing with that, I've looked those over and I didn't find any discrepancies with that. And I think the total on that particular item is $15,127.36.
I'll make a motion to pay $15,127.36.
Have a motion by Commissioner Wilson, we pay our credit card bills in the amount of $15,127.36. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Thornton. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay, and that motion carries. 5.3 are contract payments to our vendors, Mobilecom and PaperCall and all the other stipends that go under that. And the total amount of that is $95,374.10.
I'll make a motion to pay $95,374.10 for contract payments.
We have a motion by Commissioner Wilson that we pay our contract payments in the amount of $95,374.10. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Thornton. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay, and that motion carries. 5.4, payment of bills, which is benefit payments, which is our dental and vision insurance for the employees in the amount of $8,223.88.
I'll make a motion to pay our benefit payment bills of $8,223.88.
Have a motion by Commissioner Thornton to pay the dental and vision bill of $8,223.88. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. That motion carries. All right. Payment of bills for emergency solutions, contract service fee. You want to talk about that, or
Yeah.
Keith? Okay.
Typically, we record revenue from emergency solutions, but this is a little different. That's why I wanted to separate it. In this scenario, we received proceeds from Progressive through an attorney, and they came directly to the district. And so we are in turn writing a check to Emergency Solutions for their percentage of that. So again, we typically receive revenue from Emergency Solutions, but this was unusual enough that I thought I should separate it to bring it to your attention.
So this is payment back to Emergency Solutions for the litigation on the hazmat incident.
That 30% cut.
Yeah. Okay, all right. All right, I have a,
I'll make a motion that we pay our bills to Emergency Solutions for $5,492.68.
have a motion by Commissioner Thornton. We pay our bill to Emergency Solutions for $5,492.68. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay, and that motion carries. Okay, payment for the Lucas devices. Who's going to speak on that one? Go ahead, Keith.
So I wanted to separate this transaction as well, for one, because it's $148,000, but also, these Lucas devices were on the agenda fairly recently. And so we have received all of the devices, but yet we still have, I think, some of the outstanding backup batteries to receive. So on Thursday, we're going to have a check cycle, and hopefully we'll include this in the check cycle at that date. And then I'm going to coordinate with Chief Smith, and we will release the check to the vendor when the Chief Smith is satisfied that he has received all that was ordered.
So all we like is some batteries, is that right?
Yes, and the vendor will actually be on site tomorrow, so I can ask, or the salesperson, so I can ask him some more questions about when the batteries will come in.
Okay, all right.
Is that what the three line items are? Is it
7 is for the Lucas devices that we budgeted and purchased for under the Lucas device project. The 18,000 is for the Lucas device that was added to the equipment package for a new engine. And the 2,800 is for the other miscellaneous parts that go with the Lucas. They billed us as they came in, as those pieces came in.
All right, gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion to pay that bill.
I'll make a motion that we pay our bills to Lucas Devices for $148,884.71.
Have a motion by Commissioner Thornton to pay, for Lucas Devices in the amount of $148,884.71. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other question or discussion? Just make sure that we get all our stuff before we release the check to them.
Will they?
Okay? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. Item 6, receive, discuss, and take action on relating to the following reports. Board of Commissioners special call meeting on April the 5th, 2024. Didn't see anything wrong with those minutes or the ones on the, so if anybody has any questions about them? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve those.
I'll make that motion that we approve April 5th, 2024, and March the 25th, 2024, board commissioners meeting.
Okay, Commissioner Wilson made a motion to approve the special call meeting on April the 5th of 2024 minutes, and also under 6.2, Board of Commissioners March 25th minutes as submitted.
Second.
And a second by Commissioner Thornton. Any other discussion or question? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. Item 7, Executive Director report.
So you all have the written report available to you. That will highlight a few main points, and I'll focus on the financials this particular meeting. The first is to let the board know that we are reworking the financial projections over the next 3-4 years to take into account the firm commitment to the Jamestown project. So hopefully we'll have a new projection available to the board in the next meeting. We have examined the sales tax receipts, and the negative development that we have seen over the past several months have moderated. So it was still negative in the month of April, but the size of the negative percentage declined significantly compared to previous months. Over the next month, we will execute the transfers to the capital accounts that was approved in conjunction with the budget. So we can see the balance sheets for the operating fund and the various capital funds more precisely once the monies have been moved over. And that will require transferring some money from the main investment account with Fidelity over to Regions sweep accounts that also use the sister fund, also Fidelity. And in this meeting, you should have received attachments that give a snapshot of the main investment accounts we have. And the Vera banking relationship is being gradually wound down now, so we won't have much activity in the Vera, and keep it open for a few more months to make sure that any late checks that are trying to be cashed do not bounce, and we can still honor those checks. But for all practical purposes, Vera bank activities will go away. As far as wire transfer functionality within the new Regions relationship with iTreasury, board treasurer Dominic and myself, we have tested that to make sure that the dual approval requirements do function properly as they should. So I can initiate the wire transfer, but it does not get executed unless Treasurer Dominic goes in and approve it, and vice versa. So that has been tested, so everything is pretty much set up as it should be. And
7.2, or did you cover both of them there?
Well, I haven't really covered 7.2,
Okay.
but that is the quarterly investment report that we present to the board, and it's myself and board treasurer Domini as the investment officer. And we have independently verified all the numbers that you see on this report. So that simply means that Mr. Domini does not purely rely on what I type out. He actually goes in and examines the statements and the online accounts. And as you can see, we enjoyed in the second quarter 326,000 in investment income from the main Fidelity accounts, and very little investment income from the Vera bank relationship. And the region's bank relationship will start picking up and be basically generating the same percentage return as the main Fidelity does, close to 5% from a little bit above, simply because we now have the sweep account functionality that the close of every day, everything is moved over from the operating account to the sweep investment account, except for $10,000. So we leave a balance of $10,000 that earn very, very little, and the bulk of it is moved over earning basically the money market rate. So if you're happy with the report, then that's all.
No questions?
Okay, all right. All right, we'll move on to item 8, financial reports. I guess that's Mr. Keith.
You can probably see these financial reports have grown in size, but as Eric mentioned, we're hoping to terminate or finalize our relationship with Vera, and so hopefully some of these will drop off. Were there any specific questions about any of these financial reports? If not, I was going to go through the maybe budget to actual comparison for October through March 31st.
Okay. All right.
Well, if you have the budget to actual comparison in front of you from, again, October 1st through March 31st, we're 6 months through the year, so we should be about 50%. And in some places, we're tracking. So if we look at property tax revenue, we've recorded approximately $6.7 million out of the approximate $7.1 million. So we recorded 94% of all of our budgeted revenues for property taxes. Compared to fiscal year 2023, we were at 78%. Moving on down the page, sales tax. Eric spoke a little bit about sales tax. So for currently at this time, we've recorded approximately $7.5 million in sales tax. We budgeted $6.2 million, so we're right at 46%. At last year, at this time, we were at 58% as sales tax recorded. Total revenues for this year were approximately $15.6 million out of a budgeted $24.6 million, so we're right at 64% for the year. For fiscal year 2023, at the same time, we were at 68%. So we're tracking. Moving down to expenses and specifically administrative payroll, salaries, full-time. We budgeted approximately $8.1 million for administrative salaries, salaries full-time, and we've incurred approximately $3.5 million in expenses. So we're right at 43%. Compared to last year at this time, we were at 40%. There's some overages and part-time and overtime, but we've talked about those in previous meetings. I think you gentlemen know the background on those. Total overall administrative payroll budgeted for this year, $13.3 million. We've expensed approximately $6.6 million, so we're right at 50%. Exactly. Compared to last year at this time, we were at 46%. Contractual fees and services, budgeted $492,000. We've utilized $256,000 approximately. We're right at 52%. Last year, we were at 82% at this time. Information technology, we've budgeted in total $687,000 approximately, and we've utilized 58% of that budget, which is approximately $398,000. So last year at this time, we were at 53% utilized. Operating expenses, I was just gonna point out, benefit workers' comp, so we budgeted $420,000 approximately. We've utilized $296,000, so we've utilized 70% of the budget for benefit for workers' comp. As of last year, we were right at 60%. So there's some deficits in this account for the insurance, $38,000. We discussed this before. And then professional services has a deficit, but we really didn't budget anything for professional services. And so I want to keep those expenses there, and I'll use that for when I budget for FY '25 to make sure I include professional services. The same thing for building rental, which is our boat slip rental. We didn't budget for that in FY '24, so I'll leave that here. So we do budget for that in FY '25. Overall operating expenses, we budgeted $2.1 million, and we've spent 38%, or utilized 38%, which is about $827,000. So if you look there at the sundry principal, we've only utilized $214,000 of the $662. So I was looking, last year, we typically make that Vera loan payment in September of the fiscal year. So once we make that, that should probably be right in line with where it should be. Compared to last year at this time, we were at 41%. Moving on down to buildings, repair, and maintenance, we budgeted $393,000. We've utilized, combined, if you combine the expenditures and the commitments, we've committed or expensed 50% of the budget. Compared to last year at this time, we'd utilized 90%. For fuel, supplies, gas and diesel, $360,000. We've utilized $121,000 approximately. That's 33%. Compared to last year, we were at 39%. General operational expenses, budgeted approximately $379,000. We've utilized $214,000 approximately. We're right at 56%. Last year at this time, we were at 57% utilized. New equipment and gear, budgeted $1.7 million for FY 2024. If you combine the actual expenses and the encumbrances, since the encumbrances are so great, those combine to 66% of the total budget. So doing the same kind of process for FY '23, we were right at 51%. The stipends, there's like a rhythm to that. Overall, we're only at 27% utilized. That is, we budgeted $471,000, but we've only spent $129,000. But again, I think there's a quarterly process for that, and we should probably be catching up soon. Last year at this time, we had utilized 45% of the budget. For training, we've budgeted $214,000, utilized $103,000 approximately, so we're right at 48%. Last year at this time, we were at 21% utilized. Truck repairs and maintenance, budgeted approximately $480,000. So if you combine the actual expenditures with the encumbrances, we're right at 55% of the utilized budget. Compared to last year, very similar, 54%. So total expenses, $9,552,290 out of a budget, $24,743,686. We're right at 38% of utilized budget. And then compared to last year at this time, we were right at 36%. So that was for the operating budget. So I've started to move. When the year started, we were still charging a lot of our capital expenditures to our operating fund. So if you had an opportunity to look at the budget actual comparisons for the capital investment funds, but we've started transitioning those expenses that were originally coded to operating but were indeed capital expenses. We've started moving those and their encumbrances over to Fund 110 and Fund 120 and Fund 130. So also, as Eric mentioned, we'll be moving making the revenue transfers very shortly in this month, April, so it'll reflect itself on the next, at the next board meeting's financial statements. Were there any other questions I could answer?
No. I think we're pretty much on target, just over in a few areas. But it's what a budget is. I think we're still holding it pretty tight, even in our overages.
Yep, no questions from me.
I don't have any either. Okay. All right. All right. Anything else you need to go over, Keith? Like net position, nobody has anything on the budget, so everything else is all right, check register and everything?
Yeah, eventually, as I said, the rear check register will hopefully drop off sooner than later. In all of honesty.
Okay. All right. We'll move on to 8.1 then. Discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on the purchase order commitment rollover from fiscal year 2023 to fiscal year 2024 and subsequent resulting 2024 budget amendment. You speaking on that one,
Yes, sir.
Keith, or, yeah, okay?
So as part of the transition from fiscal year '23 to '24, we had quite a few purchase commitments at the end of '23. The majority were all capital apparatus, Metro Fire, Siddons, Martin, Caldwell County, Chevrolet. And so we rolled those or transferred those purchase orders, those commitments into 2024. And they came to a total of approximately, exactly $3,057,007.49. So again, the majority of them were for capital apparatus. There was a small amount for operating. And so we are asking the board to approve the roll forward of the 23 purchase order commitments into FY '24, and therefore approve the 2024 budget amendment resulting from this roll forward. And I have just FYI, a copy of all with me here if y'all want to look at it, a copy of all the purchase commitments that got rolled over.
All right. I need a motion to approve the roll forward of the 2023 purchase orders commitments into the 2024 budget. The money was there, but the items weren't bought until actually over into 2024. Is that correct?
Just the
So we just-
commitments are rolling over.
Yeah, just the commitments were rolling over in the amount of $3,057,007.49.
I'll make a motion that we approve the purchase order commitments of $3,057,000, $3,057,007.49 adjustment to the 2024 budget amendment.
Have a motion by Commissioner Thornton. We approve the roll forward of 2023 purchase orders commitments into the 2024 budget and make that as a budget amendment in the amount of $3,057,007.49. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. 8.2, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on the transition to Regions Credit Card Services from TIB Credit Card Services. I guess you'll speak on that one too, Keith?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So as you're aware, we're transitioning to Regions Credit Card Services, and we actually have terminated our services with our previous card provider, TIB. So with TIB, we would get our statement, and then we would actually write them a check. But with Regions, part of the contract was that we're on what's called a 30-day cycle with a 30 calendar days to pay. So the credit card cycle ends on the last calendar day of the month. So 30 calendar days after that, Regions will automatically debit our operating account for all approved charges. But that really shouldn't be an issue for the board meetings, in that we should give us 30 days, should give us a window broad enough to present this information, have it be reviewed, and then approved. However, there could be a scenario, maybe there's not a quorum present, or we've got like a snowmageddon, or whatever occurs that we're not able to meet within that 30-day period. And therefore, I just wanted you to be aware that there could be a very rare circumstance where regions will debit all our credit card charges before they've had a chance to be presented to the board. Again, I think that's a rare circumstance, but it could occur. So in the effort to ensure transparency, I just wanted to bring that process to you and make you aware of it and ask you to formally approve it.
I have a question. So generally speaking, these are purchases that would most likely have been pre-approved by the board through other meetings and activities. So in essence, we're approving it earlier. There's always exceptions to that, but am I kind of understanding that correctly? I mean, what kind of purchases typically go on our cards? Would this fall into certain categories of emergency purchases, or?
Well, we've put together some guidance on how to appropriately use purchase cards, and then we're also refining that guidance. But that could be anything from buying some manila folders to going down to Home Depot to buy something, and/or things that are actually approved by the board. For example, some travel. So, for example, Safety Conference, which was approved by the board, would go on these cards.
Okay.
The goal is to minimize the use of the
Yeah.
card.
Yeah, I have no further questions.
All right. I will entertain a motion to approve this process, and if there's not any other questions. Like I said, I think the only time it might happen is if something happened, we didn't have a quorum present. We couldn't meet that particular 1 month, and then they're just gonna deduct it, but we'll probably approve it the next meeting anyway, or ratify the payment. So,
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to state the motion.
yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Regions Credit Card Services process for Regions requirement of the 30 days after the end of the billing period. Regions will automatically debit the district operating account for approved credit card transactions, and monthly charges could exceed $2,000.
I'll second.
A motion by Commissioner Thornton, and a second by Commissioner Wilson. And that's not to exceed $2,000? That was his motion.
Well,
No, it could exceed.
Per card, or?
I don't think there's a limit at all.
Okay. I think the motion needs to be that we would approve Region's process for the payment. If for some reason we didn't meet or something, it would automatically be deducted from the operating account. Is that what we need to be doing?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
Yeah. Okay,
Second it.
all right. So you withdraw your original motion?
Yes.
Okay. Original motion withdrawn, and the second also, and then the other motion is presented, and have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. 8.3, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on retroactively approving the most recent Blue Cross Blue Shield payment of $104,472.64, which exceeded the prior authorization limit by $2,472.64. So, I know the reason behind it, but, I guess, is Keith gonna speak on that one?
I'll speak on it.
Okay,
So, as you mentioned, we have a limit of $102,000 or flexibility up to $102,000 for the healthcare benefits. And I mistakenly went ahead and processed April's Blue Cross Blue Shield, and it exceeded the $102,000. So, really don't have a very good explanation other than I mistakenly did it. I can assure you I will never do that again, and I learned a valuable lesson. But that's essentially the genesis of what occurred.
so actually what caused the overage was the addition of the additional staff is what caused it. It wasn't, yeah, right.
It's a fairly new process, so we're kind of setting that range right now anyway, so it, I think from my perspective, was expected to be a little fluid. I'll make a motion that we, pay the $104,472.64, which exceeded the prior authorization limit, and then we'll discuss the higher range in 8.4.
Have a motion by Commissioner Thornton, we go ahead and approve the payment of $104,472.64 for Blue Cross Blue Shield. Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And that motion carries, which it means we exceeded the limit by $2,472.64. So that's mainly what we approved tonight was the $2472.64. So 8.4, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on updated pre-approval limits for contractual benefit payments. And we'll let y'all explain that one now.
So, as just mentioned, we've added staff, and therefore it reveals itself in our benefits. And it quickly revealed itself in April in healthcare, but it will also reveal itself in dental and vision, life insurance, all of our benefits. So we've got to have to really, previously our monthly average was about 85,000. So we've got to recalibrate this. And so I extrapolated the rest of the fiscal year with the new staff and potential new staff, and I potentially could average 95,000 per month for healthcare, or healthcare premiums, dental and vision, 7,600, up to potentially 9,120. So we're asking the board to take any necessary action on the approval limits for our healthcare and dental and vision benefits.
So you want our limit set somewhere between 95,000 and 114,000 per month?
Per month, approximately, sir. Yes, sir. Again, with the new staff, historically, we were averaging for healthcare about 85. I extrapolate that we'll be probably averaging about $95,000 a month for the rest of the fiscal year, but not to exceed 114,000.
And the 114, did that include potentially additional Jamestown staff?
No,
Okay.
it did not.
So pending additional staff at some point in time, we may have to revisit this.
Oh, yeah, we'll definitely revisit this as part of the FY '25 budget process. We'll definitely revisit
Okay.
this.
I'll entertain a motion from one of you gentlemen.
I'll make a motion that we approved the pre-approval limits for our healthcare premiums up to $15,000 for healthcare premiums, as well as $9,120 for dental and vision premiums.
Have a motion by Commissioner Thornton that we approve the updated premiums, average premiums, up to $114,000, which that would include the dental and vision, is that right? All that
Dental vision is
up to 9,120, okay. And dental and vision up to $9,120. Have a second? Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other discussion or question? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. And that motion carries. And if we happen to run over a little bit, let us know and we'll get a special meeting and we'll do it that way from now on. So, anyway. All right. Item 9, Director of Human Resources report. Ms. Sherry?
The workforce injuries, we have not had any for the month of April that resulted in any loss of hours. So that's good news.
All right.
And then the human resources report, or do you need to announce that first, 9.2?
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. All right, so moving on to the human resources report. I don't know if you have any questions. I do have an update on the UKG PTO accrual, and that I was notified that due to software limitations that they cannot fix the accrual issue that I have. It only affects 11 people, so it's not as big as an issue it was this last January. So that is just something I will have to continue to monitor.
So they can't fix it at all, huh?
No. They said that they would put it out for possible future software updates, but they had no promise as to when, where, or anything.
And is it just development time for them, or they weren't getting enough requests for changes like that?
I think that
It's a
they don't
custom
have
issue.
enough requests for that particular change, and so it's not a priority to them.
And
All
if
right,
it
and
becomes a bigger problem, I think we
yes,
would
but
want to revisit that with them to see if
actually
that's a development we can
the
pay for.
problem will fix itself over time, because the problem that we had with this particular issue was that under a previous policy, the firefighters were allowed to accrue more than, or they were unlimited accruals. Well, when we switched to our current policy, which is a maximum of 195, we allowed the firefighters to keep anything that they had already accrued, so they did not lose it. They just could not accrue anymore until they dropped below the 195. And the issue was that UKG wanted to drop the hours over the 195. They couldn't maintain it. And so that was what the issue is. So it will fix itself over time. All right, then, the other thing I wanted to point out on here was we did have a promotion to captain. Joshua Parrish was promoted to captain and will start on 4/28. Also, through our promotion process that we just had, we have lieutenant, possible for promotions right now are Lieutenant David Hawley, Bruce Thompson, Christopher Warren, and Dylan Kinnemer. And then driver-operator, Brandon Butler, Tristan Fairchild, Robert York, Dennis Drotzman, Joshua Bardwell, and Christopher Burns. So these are all eligible for promotion once we have assignments provided. And I don't know if you had any other questions for me.
I got one, but it kind of goes back to the other one. Our volunteers that we have under the ESD, is their workman's comp insurance included in that also?
Included in the, which one, I'm sorry?
Our workman's comp insurance?
For the bill 471?
No. Our ESD volunteers that we got, we've got to pay their workman's comp insurance. So is that included in our workman's comp bill every month now?
It's not specifically broken out. I mean, we're talking about 2 people right now.
Okay.
So,
Well, and then another question I have, if we're paying our workman's comp, because everybody else's is reimbursed to the district, does that make them employees? Do we know that for sure? I'm just wondering.
well, we did consult with Rainy and Slough before
Okay.
accepting volunteers.
Right.
And
question I had, nobody's ever brought it
There
up.
were no issues
Okay.
in that regard.
All right.
But your issue with workers' comp is that for the next billing cycle with the insurance company,
Yeah.
we need to specifically break out and identify
Right.
a certain number of volunteers directly underneath the ESD, similar to what we do for the VSDs right now.
Right, right, okay. All right. That's all I have on that one. Just want to make sure we don't step off into something later on, you know?
Yes.
So, right. All right. Anything else, Ms. Sheriff? Anybody else have any questions for Sheriff? No? All right. Community Outreach Coordinators Report. Ms. Nikki?
Hi, good evening. I don't have anything major or new to report. We're just seeing a steady stream of positive engagement on our social media. And of course, I've reached out to different officers just to let them know whatever they've got going on, or if they need help with anything, to please give me a call. I'll be there. And we're just continuing our relationships with the media. We were heavily involved with them during all of our severe weather, and of course coordinating with other organizations, state agencies, and we're just sharing that with the community so that they can be aware.
All right. Anybody have any questions? All right. Larry, it looks like you're up.
Yes, sir. How are you?
You want to give your report first, or you want to go through all your other stuff first?
It's up to you, Commissioner, but I'd prefer just to go straight down the list.
Okay,
start with the other stuff.
that's fine. Okay. So 11.1, discuss, consider, and take action on purchasing SCBA masks for inventory.
Commissioners, Logistics has just recently taken over the responsibility for issuing and maintaining an inventory of SCBA masks. After inventorying what we had remaining on hand after the transfer from operations, it's been determined that we need to increase our inventory on hand. So in front of you, you have a request for funding to purchase additional SCBA masks for inventory that will subsequently be issued to both volunteers and paid staff.
And so you want to buy 14 masks or bags, is that right?
I believe it
14
is
masks and
16
bags?
I think it's 16 masks in total, plus the bags.
And the agenda says 14.
I think it's 14 mask bags and 16 masks.
According to the agenda, it says authorized to purchase 14 masks and 14 mask bags.
That may be correct. I'm just looking at what's on that quote. The quote was for a total of 16 masks. And that's already been issued.
So I'll have to ask our attorney, it says authorize the staff to purchase 14 and 14. Okay. Just want to make sure.
I think the main commitment, sir, should be for the total that was requested of $6,384.
Okay. All right.
I'll make a motion. Go ahead. Sean.
No.
I'll make a motion that we purchase the mask and bags, $6,384. And I guess if we need additional, we can include that. Is that
Well,
right?
I think that's what the price
Okay.
is, it's just misquoted
Oh.
as the number, I believe is what it is.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion by Commissioner Wilson that we approve the amount of $6,384 for the purchase of SCBA mask and mask bags. Have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. 11.2, discuss, consider, and take any action on purchasing a modular a module and component upgrade kit for Flint Engine 261 at a cost of $3,814.62.
Commissioners, this is a required repair for the Flint Engine 261. It has to do with the air pressure instrument in the dash, and this is the recommended correct component from the equipment manufacturer.
And the other one's outdated, is what I understand. Is that correct?
They're leaking, I think, is the issue.
Yeah. And this is the upgrade to the original.
Yes, sir.
I'll make that motion that we purchase a module and component upgrade kit for Flint Engine 261 at the cost of $3,814.62.
A motion by Commissioner Wilson that we purchase a replacement module and component upgrade kit for Flint Gresham Engine 261 from Metro Fire at a cost of $3,814.62. Have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Thornton. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. 11.3, discuss, consider, and take action on the purchase of DeWalt 60-volt batteries for inventory. And for the purchase of 12 batteries at a cost not to exceed $3,600.
Yes, sir. As we move forward with getting a lot of our tools and even some of the vans and other items on the fire trucks switched over to battery-operated tools, it's becoming a requirement for us to keep some of those batteries on hand for any issues that may arise. We do have several batteries that are in the process of being warrantied off at this point. The problem is we don't have replacements to hand out as they go through that warranty process, and that's really what we're looking to accomplish here. These are not specifically line item budget, but we did find the money in the budget to go ahead and continue this purchase.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to authorize staff to purchase 12 DeWalt 60-volt batteries at a cost not to exceed $3,600 from the DeWalt store on Amazon.
Have a motion by Commissioner Thornton to authorize the purchase of 12 DeWalt 60-volt batteries at a cost not to exceed $3,600 from the DeWalt store on Amazon. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay. And that motion carries. 11.4, discuss, consider, and take any action on approving preventative maintenance on HVAC units. And Larry, I'll let you talk about that.
Yes, sir. So we just did a renewal on our HVAC contract, and we chose not to renew that contract. We rebid it, and we awarded a new vendor. In this, the main reason for not renewing the contract was to expand the scope of work to include preventative maintenance opportunities. After reviewing the preventative maintenance submissions, we think it's in our best benefit to go ahead and proceed with the preventative maintenance plans that were included in that RFP process. And we expect that this will reduce the total amount of actual breakdowns that occur. This was not specifically line item budgeted, but we feel like the budget that was in for repairs would be better spent on maintenance and preventative maintenance and would reduce the actual breakdown costs that we have.
Do you have the money in your maintenance
Yes, sir.
budget? Okay.
So we did or did not go out for,
This was through an
Competitive
RFP
bidding.
process, and this
Okay.
would be to our contracted vendor.
I was also confused. There's a $70,000 line item.
That one we elected not to take. So one of the things that we looked at is, when we did the RFP process, we went out for what our hourly service rates would be, emergency service rates, all those fees for our standard repairs. Then we also looked at an option on what it would take to do the preventative maintenance plans that are being presented to you today. And then we also looked at an option for a quarterly maintenance cycle, which would include filter repairs. That one came out $70,000. We did not elect to continue with that process.
Okay, so that was a separate,
Yes, sir.
okay. That's what I wasn't.
That was the original RFP that you were looking at.
Okay. No further questions.
All right.
approve the preventative maintenance for our standby HVAC units. Let me get the price in here, for the total cost of $17,695.64.
Have a motion by Commissioner Thornton to approve the allocating of funds in the amount of $17,695.64 for preventative maintenance on our air conditioning units through J&J Commercial Services. And a second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. Discuss, consider, and take any action on the next steps for the new station in the Jamestown community. Okay? All right. Larry, I guess that's your,
Yes, sir. Commissioners, before you, you have 4 alternatives and options that the staff have been working on to continue with the process of the Jamestown station. It's in our understanding that the primary concern is to get manpower and reduce response times in the Jamestown community. The fastest way to achieve that is through option number 4 that we presented to you today, and that is to move a pier and beam structure from a newly acquired property to serve as a temporary measure, build a small apparatus bay out there at the same time. This would allow us to rapidly move forward with the project and reduce the timeline to staffing. There are other options. The other options would be to continue with the drawings that we already had, the shovel-ready drawings that we have from the architects. We know that that would be close to a 2-year time frame by the time that station is up and operational. So with this would reduce that drastically to the point where we could get staffing into the Jamestown community rapidly.
Personally, I like the option 4 because it does allow us to get our staffing out there faster while we're working through the issues of the design of the building.
And that would be a temporary measure while we look at building a permanent facility there at a later date.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion that we not move the pier and beam there. The man that sold us the property was definitely against that. We told the public and him and neighbors that we would build a new station. And I know there's a timeline and all of it, but I see when before movements there, we'll be waiting on some other things too that might carry us over the next 6 months further down the line. So I made that motion that we do not do the pier and beam move through that process there. And we move forward with paperwork or whatever necessary to start on this new station.
mhm.
In line with the rules, there is a negative motion, so I will interpret Commissioner Wilson's motion as one for one of the other options, rather than as a motion against option 4.
Well, that could be done. And I withdraw that to say that I'm ready to see moving forward with the paperwork or whatever we need to do to start on this new station up there. Would that be correct?
The alternative 1, if I understand it correctly.
Right.
All right. Have a motion by Commissioner Wilson that we move forward with the plans as designed. I have a second on that. I have a second. I'm gonna let that motion die right now, but we're gonna discuss it some more. And I'll have a recommendation. That we would take not the blueprints that we, or the bill we drew up, we take a design like one on the Station 3 and expand on it a little bit, which would work, and I think that would save us a lot more money than what we got, and we can put into that station what we need. The biggest things I understand that we need, we have to have ADA compliant restrooms, and we have to have a safe room. So those, the ADA is given anyway. The safe room, that was a new deal that was brought up to us that, through the architects, so.
Commissioner, if I may.
Yeah.
If I may.
Yeah.
The original designs that we're working on for Jamestown was based on both Winona and Jackson Heights Station floor plans, and they are minimalistic stations with small exceptions. Some of those small exceptions would be decontamination showers in the hot zone and a workout room. Aside from that, it is those smaller stations like Jackson or Winona. The only change to that would be some additional bunk rooms. So I don't see taking those plans back that's going to contribute to any real monetary savings. But it will lead to further delays in processing that station.
Okay. Well, then I'll make the motion, we go ahead with item one.
Alternative one.
Alternative one, yep. I just think we need to go ahead and get something built up there that's gonna be there, instead of putting something up there and then having to go back and do it again. Even though item four will get stuff up there a lot quicker, I just feel like if we build a station, then we're gonna have to revisit it. So, that's my motion. After we've had time to discuss it. You have anything you wanna add, Scott? All right, there's a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other question or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay.
Nay.
And that motion carries. So, all right.
Commissioners, just to update you on that, I had already made revisions in case this was board direction, so that process is already underway, both with legal and with the architectural firm to start drafting those RFP documents. So that was already planned for and is underway.
Okay. 11.6, discuss considering action on the designation of records management officer pursuant to section 203.25 of the Texas Local Government Code Records Act, updated September of 2019. Create official position of records management officer on the board, appoint a commissioner to the position with a view towards enhanced diversification of board duties, and assign Larry Locke as the staff custodian of records and liaison with the RMO.
Commissioners, this is a procedural requirement that we became aware of through the safety conference. This is a position that we should have in place, and its primary job is focused on creation and oversight of our open records and documents that the ESD is required to maintain.
So we need to appoint a commissioner as that person. Is that right?
The best course of action would actually be to create a position and then to appoint somebody to that position. That would mean that as that person changes, there's a little less paperwork to do. We just have to turn in the minutes that show that person got elected to that position.
So would we create
Records management officer.
create the officer and then vote on that later on when we've got all 5 commissioners here?
You could.
Yeah.
Or if we just put them on the train and do it without them doing it.
I thought of that. I'll make a motion that we create the official position of Records Management Officer. Is it RMA or RMO?
RMO.
It is RMO.
Okay. RMO on the board, and at a later board meeting, appoint a commissioner to the position with the suggestion towards enhanced diversification of our board duties. And then assign Larry Locke as the staff custodian of records to liaise with the RMO.
Okay, a motion by Commissioner Thornton. Have a second? Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other discussion or question? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. 11.7, discuss, consider, and take any action on complete in-frame overhaul for Noonday Engine 166 at a cost of $33,592.53.
Commissioners, this item as well as the next item or line item budgeted, we did foresee the need to have these in-frames completed on both of these engines. And it's time to go ahead and pull the trigger and move forward with these repairs. I'm going to hold one of these back, just FYI. I'd like you to go ahead and approve them, but I'm gonna hold one back towards the latter quarter of this budget year. Just to make sure we're squared away budgetarily. I'd like to go ahead and get them both approved at this time.
Is that for Noonday and White House?
Yes, sir.
We'll approve Noonday first, and then we'll move to White Houses. So
Thank you,
do
sir.
I have a motion on 11.7 to approve the complete in-frame overhaul for Noonday Engine 166 at a cost of $33,592.53?
I'll make the motion that we, pay $33,592.53 for the outsourced complete in-frame overhaul for Monday Engine 166 to Oak Truck Center.
Okay.
As I said, the cost of $33,592.53.
Motion by Commissioner Wilson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Thornton. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. 11.8 is discuss and consider and take action on complete in-frame overhaul for White House Engine 151 at a cost of $37,158.70.
I'll make that motion also. Take complete action in-frame overhaul for White House Engine 151 at a cost of $37,158.70.
Have a motion by Commissioner Wilson to do a complete in-frame overhaul on White House Engine 151 at a cost of $37,158.70. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a second by Commissioner Thornton. And what's the difference in the cost on them, Larry?
They're slightly different trucks, different parts requirements.
Okay, that's fine. Different size motors or something? Okay. All right. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. Okay. Board report summary, that's yours, Larry.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So just a couple of things that I want to call out. You all have my board report in front of you. In particular, we had close to $15,000 worth of damage to numerous facilities during the storms. We're going to work with insurance to try to get that processed as an insurance claim. Hopefully recoup some of that. We have started the move of equipment and plumbing and electrical work as approved by the board to move from Dixie Station 1 to Dixie Station 2. That process is underway. And today they broke ground at the new administration facility building for the command platform and additional emergency management warehousing capabilities. That started today. That should be about a 45-day project. And we have a meeting later this week with the general contractor on the remodel to get a timeline together for the remodel of admin building 1. Fleet metrics are holding, not anything really to talk about there, although I do give you that overview on the minor changes that have occurred. Technician efficiency at fleet maintenance is holding. SLA violations, the service level agreement, how fast we're getting different things in, is drastically improving. We're reducing the number of SLA backlogs, and I expect to see that continue. We did have a slowdown in the number of work orders that are being completed out of fleet. That's largely attributed to the merger of work orders. We're starting to merge work orders together that have similar issues when they're in the shop. We're only showing one work order get completed instead of 15 or 20. And so they're taking care of more items, so there's more work being logged towards a single work order. that edge of being reactive and proactive. So I hope to see more of those proactive funding requests come forward. And as far as logistics goes, the number of requests is up. That's largely due to the uniform and boot store coming into play and getting some use.
Have we got all our stuff in for everybody that we need to have in there?
We have the majority of the main items in at this point. In fact, we just got a pallet load of shirts in place. We're working to get T-shirts. We're working through RFP processes to make sure we're getting low bid on those, or best value, I should say. And we're working on sourcing some of the reflective pants and things like that. But your main uniform items are in stock at this point. And then I would call your attention to a few memos that was presented to the board. There's 3 of them total. One's kind of an FYI of some of the intergovernmental transfers that the ESD has been recipient of. And I'd like to thank our partners on those. And then a memo on personnel changes within the district, and a memo on the implementation of a new policy regarding user account renewal processes. Main thing there would be all user accounts would be expiring based on their anniversary date every year. This would require that the user comes into the office, gets their fit test done, making sure we're in compliance with all of the requirements for fit testing and radio calibration and alignment. Firmwares are up to date, training is conducted, and it will make sure we have a firm process in place to make sure nobody falls through the cracks. I'd be happy to answer any questions on any of the memos that were presented or my board report.
And I think we also talked about that, the fit testing and everything, that there would be somebody one Saturday a month
Yes.
available to, for the volunteers that couldn't make it during the week or whatever, so you
That
can
is-
get it done on Saturdays.
Absolutely correct. We'll be doing that on the first Saturday of the month, unless it falls on a holiday, and then we'll move it forward to the next week. It doesn't fall on a holiday weekend.
Okay. Well, I think it sounds pretty good, try to get everything done at one time, that way, you know, it's not having to call somebody to come up there 3 or 4 times when they come up there and do it one time.
Precisely.
Okay.
That's all I have, unless you have any questions for me.
Nope.
Nope. Pull it back up. Naturally. Didn't, but it will. So, let's see. Chief Operations Report. I guess Chief Smith, that probably falls to you tonight.
Yes, good evening. Included in your packet is the operations report. What I can say is that it's been a busy month, especially if you look under the highlights section. It talks about how we hosted a couple of state assets during the recent storms. We had stuff from both Texas Task Force 1 and 2 here in the county. Beyond that, we had 2 safety reports put in. One of them didn't come in through the safety report submittal, but that's where it ended up anyway. And the details on it is it was a response master mapping issue. Overall, the solution is going to be a TrueCAD system, and our stakeholders are already meeting to try to start getting that process moving down the road. The second one is a LDH hose failure, and what we figured out is that we have some hose out there that's been around for a little while that has plastic inserts in it, and those inserts become warped over time. What we are doing now is that we're identifying these sections, and we're going to count them. We're going to remove them from service, and we will determine if they can be retrofitted or if we're going to have to budget to replace them. Because currently, right this moment, we don't know exactly how many sections it is. But the plan is to get them off the truck so that we can move forward from there. If you guys don't have any other questions, that'll be the end of the report.
Okay. All right.
No question.
Item 13, discuss, consider, and take action, necessary action on fire chiefs presenting and discussing issues with the board for future action. Art, Chief Arnold?
Got monsoon flooded her pretty good. That drainage ditch that we had cut originally
Mhm.
has silted in and needs to be reworked. We've got the assets, we have dozers in the county, be a good training opportunity for them. I encourage y'all to get that done within the next month.
Okay, all right. Anything else? Thank you, sir. I guess you'll take care of that. Okay, all right. Bullard, Chief Riley,
Good afternoon.
how are you?
Good, how are you?
All right.
Let's see, we have 100 incidents for the month of March. It does show one no response. I researched that. It was a fire alarm where the crew were canceled prior to going into route. So it shows up as a no response, but they actually didn't have enough time to even get on the truck. So it's been a pretty busy month. We have 22 on the roster at the moment. We had one come off of workman's comp, and we have another one that got injured is on workman's comp. I believe I have 4 new members that are pending background checks at the moment. Lots of activity, lots of young personnel that we brought on recently that are about to wrap up Fire Academy at TJC and then be completely finished or then begin EMT school shortly this summer. We have a couple of PRs that we've been involved in. A couple of weekends ago, we participated in Touch a Truck. That's with the Junior League of Tyler. They fundraise tickets to the event so that they can then donate back to nonprofits in the area. I believe they sold over 3,500 tickets that day, so lots of children were able to come out and participate, look at all the different trucks that were brought out. We took engine 156, brush 256, the side-by-side, and the inflatable smokehouse with a crew of 9, and so it was a really good event. Had several EMS companies and even landed Flight for Life. This coming weekend, we'll be participating at Pantherpalooza, which is local to Bullard's at the high school. It's put on by the Bullard Education Foundation, which is a big fundraiser for them to put money back into the schools. So we'll be there participating with them. They'll be doing food vendors, cornhole tournament, bands, music, Dunkin' booths, and the like. So we'll be involved in that as well. We're working with a local Eagle Scout. He's doing a project with us at the station to install a flag donation box where people can bring their retired flags and donate, and then they will properly retire them. That's being installed on May 7th at our next meeting. We hope to have a good turnout of people to kind of put it into service, understand the importance behind it. Once they retire the flags, they do take pieces of it, like the grommets and such, and return those to veterans that like to collect the pieces of the flag that have been flown. Also on May 14th, we're working with Camp Gladiator. That's another local group fitness company. They're real big into community involvement, so every quarter they usually pick a nonprofit to work with, such as ASPCA and so on. This quarter they're working with Bullard, as well as White House VFD and Tyler Fire. They're fundraising water and Gatorade donations to get to the fire departments. I know in Bullard, at least, we're severely lacking with bottled water. They are, like I said, they're fundraising bottles of water and Gatorade, as well as accepting monetary donations that go with purchase water. Just as of today, we started the campaign yesterday. Just as of today, we've already been notified that we have a pallet of water and a pallet of Gatorade that's been purchased. So hopefully we have some more that get donated before the 14th of May. One thing to note that last year we received a grant for a loose skid, for a skid unit for a brush truck. We had it built out and delivered, and it's been sitting at the station for a little while now, trying to figure out what to do with it. We've worked with Fleet and Mr. Locke, and I've identified that we'd like to have it put on brush 157 and have that older skid unit from that truck that Fleet can take it back to refurb and put on another apparatus of their choosing. And so we're working with Fleet to make sure that project continues. And finally, that with the implementation of the 12-hour day, 7 days a week, Lieutenant Reed there in Bullard has been doing an amazing job working with the community. We did get him in contact with Brook Hill. They have a new head of security this year, and we were able to get them on the campus for a full day of incident pre-planning. So other than that, I have no other updates unless the board has any questions for me.
Sound like you've been busy.
Good job.
Good
Thank you.
job. Thank you. Chapel Hill, Chief Peterson.
Good evening. Go ahead, we got another application that just come in. I'll be sending that in here for a while. And, I have two guys right now in a class this week. They're down in, Terra County, doing chainsaw class. Learn how to use a chainsaw. Also, we've done another CPR class at Chapel Hill with 2 more people to get their CPR up to date. And then we had a, Campbell Record Service donated some couple of cars for us this last weekend for us to start cutting up on. So I took our guys out there and we practiced some more extrication on cars to keep us up on that. And then also during the Easter weekend, we helped the White House do a fun, kind of like a PR event for kids out there, the voters. So we helped them do that weekend. The only other issue I'd like to know is, I guess when we do our drug testing and people take their test for certification, when the checks, when they come being made, they sitting at the office and somebody's getting informing us when they're at the office or somebody, personnel. I just happened to be up there one day and I just went through the pile to find out which ones my people are. But they aren't notifying us that they're up there. And then sometimes they're up there for a month or more. I don't know if there's something you can do to try to get that. Either tell us, the chief, or try to get to know that we got people up there on that. So they're not sitting there too long.
All right,
On that,
good. Thanks, sir. There won't be anybody here from Flint tonight. Chief is out of town working. The assistant chief is working, and Captain Rath is out of the country, so none of those will be here. Chief Stone let me know today. Noonday? Everybody from Noonday? All right. Chief Mulder also called me today and said he would not be here. He has a fire department board meeting tonight, so we want him. So, Chief Champion, White House?
Everything in White House been going good right now. We've got one that we're waiting on the results back from him that is a entry certified firefighter that's coming back with us. I'll be glad to have him back. Other than that, everything else is all right. I do have one request I'd like the staff at the ESD office to look into for me. If they would, due to the time of the year and the situation, we're sitting in the county, we are the only station that's got a running boat. Bullard Noonday is down, okay? A couple of weeks ago, we had a boat call on Lake Palestine. I got to the station, our service truck was out. I had to use my personal truck to take the boat over for the call over on Lake Palestine. I don't have a problem with that. I will do that. I'd rather use our service truck. We've got a trailer hitch on our brush truck. But the brush truck that we got with that 300 gallons of water, you go running down the road with the truck by itself and it'll road walk with you real bad. We do not need to be pulling that boat that far with that brush truck. We don't mind pulling it to Lake Tyler. That was the purpose of putting it on. But any calls we got while we're down without a boat on Lake Palestine, it would be very much appreciated if we had our service truck there and available to use for that purpose. You never know when it's going to happen. It could, it could not. Don't ever know. Don't get me wrong, we do not run code when we're pulling our boat, especially that far. But still, we'd like to have the service truck available to do that option. We've also got the option now, the game warden for the county, he has recently moved, where he has moved to, he's still in White House, moved to, he's got an area that he can take his boat to his house with him now, instead of being, over at their facility, almost over at Chapel Hill where he'd have to go get it. So if we could look into that and maybe keep our truck available as much as we could, it would be very much appreciated.
Thank you, Chief. Winona, Chief Allen?
Good afternoon. We've been relatively busy over in Winona. We've been doing some training. We had Captain Davidson come out and he assisted us with a wildland shelter training. We received 2 of those, or 4 total of those wildland training shelters, so we were able to participate in that this month. Got a couple of guys out on medical, but for the most part, we were there and available. We staffed the Station 1 and Station 2 during this last storm event until probably 1 a.m. or so. We were definitely had boots on the ground removing trees. So. Do you have any questions for me?
I think one of your assistant chiefs told us at the last meeting, y'all were staffing your Station 2 at Owentown during the day and night at different times.
One available, yes, sir.
With volunteers.
Yes, sir. One available.
That's good.
They got the internet back up and going, so they're able to do some training while they're there, and by all means, be ready to roll the truck if needed.
That's good.
Yes, sir.
All right. Item 14 will be a closed session. The board will convene in closed session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, the Texas Government Code 551071, 551072, and 551074. No action shall be taken while the board is in closed session. Any final action, final decision, or final vote shall be taken after the board convenes in open session. And we are adjourned at 7:28 p.m. return to open session. The time is 8:19 PM. And 15.1 is to discuss and consider and take any action on revision to the contract regarding real property. There was a clause in the contract about the owner's name or something, and he wants to retain the name, but it was in there that he'd have to give it up, so that was struck off, so we just need to be able to allow that to be struck out of the contract, I believe is what it was. So,
I'll make a motion that we strike the owner's name from the contract in section B6.
Let me just clarify.
Thank you.
Trade name and business name
Okay.
issue, we're allowing him to retain.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Okay. All right, have a motion to take the action on the revision to the contract regarding real property. Have a second?
I'll second.
And second by Commissioner Wilson. And I guess that would also be to allow me to sign the revisions.
Yes, I'll amend that motion as stated.
All right. So I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. 15.2, discuss, consider, and take any action on rules of procedure, conduct, and decorum for meetings for Smith County ESD2.
All right, I'll make a motion to adopt the rules of procedure, conduct, and decorum as presented, and that they are to be posted on the ESD website, ESD2 website tomorrow.
Okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Thornton to adopt the rules of procedure, conduct, and decorum for meetings of Smith County ESD2, and that they be posted upon the website tomorrow. And a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other question or discussion? Actually, what this is mainly to cover the decorum and rules of procedure for public comment and how, and when, and how to address the board. So, anyway. Hearing no other discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay, and that motion carries. Item 16, remarks by presiding officer and/or board members, information updates, items to be placed on future agendas, and future meeting dates, times, and/or locations. Charles, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, I've got 2 or 3 or 4 things.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to ask Larry about, I'd mentioned to you about the water faucets around the station. People are stopping there at night when the cars are hot, cutting water on, getting water, leaving them running. It hadn't been about 3 weeks ago, if you remember, I asked you to maybe advise in a email to have those chiefs or whoever take the water faucet knobs off and put in the stations where they know where they were. They always talk about having high bills, paying that water figure out what auctioneer you're gonna use. I gave Chief Greaser one, but I didn't know.
I believe we're still discussing that.
Okay. I'd like to make some compliments on some of your workers at the shop. At Scottsburg, that's in my fire district. I go by there a lot, just observe things going on. And I know those two shop repairmen, Mac and Seth, they're working very hard, and they are so stacked out weekly on trucks. And Carla, that was a good choice. She gets those paperwork going and keeps them rolling, but I noticed today on her desk, she had about 40 or so waiting for repairs on trucks, and it just keeps stacking up. And I was gonna ask you, have y'all decided, well, about a year and a half ago, we voted, the board did, to hire a third mechanic, and they need some help. That's a job working on them big trucks, one man on each with 40 and 50 waiting in line, and we've got them stacked up in stations that were broke down. Have y'all got any decision on, we allotted the money for it a year and a half or so ago.
That was not budgeted this year, but we did bring it forward in the workshop that we're gonna be budgeting for it next budget
They
year.
sure need some help, and they're doing a great job, because they work on trucks, trailers, everything, and they stay stacked out. She's definitely doing a good job keeping that paper rolling in there. If they had to do it, you know, it was a heck of a mess in trying to do mechanics in that. But also another good decision was you brought David on to the shop. I guess he's equipment repairman or something.
David isn't brought onto the shop, he's working under operations and he's
Well-
tackling special projects.
Well, he is, and I noticed admiring his work, he was putting a new bumper, building it on that new truck that y'all got out there, but he's a great person to have on all that instruction, doing that stuff there in the shop.
Yeah, there's some great talent out there in the fire service.
Yeah, they're doing
Lieutenant
a great
Darrell's one
job,
of
but
them.
they're just overwhelmed, and certainly need to think about that third person. And I go through there quite a bit, and like I say, I've got a sign sheet out to be in the shop, a safety sheet, without any problems, but they're doing a good job out there.
Thanks, sir. I'll pass on the compliment.
Okay.
Scotty, you got anything? I don't either, just appreciate everybody's hard work, and just keep doing what you're doing. Take care of our citizens out there. So, with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Thornton,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Wood. We are adjourned at 8:27 PM.